Okay, so today we're going to take you through step by step how to install a Halo 5 water filtration system. Feel free to skip ahead to the parts that might be relevant to you, but I'm going to include a lot of different plumbing tips throughout the video. So, first thing you want to do is find a nice space for it to fit, ideally as near to the incoming water as possible, and you will definitely need a floor drain or somewhere to at least have the wastewater from the system go. Okay, so it comes with a couple of optional elbows to add if you need it to go up, which I decided to use in this case. Next, we add the bypass system here. So you don't need to go crazy with these; just throw them in hand tight, but crank on them pretty hard, but hand tight will do. For these couple of sections, it will come with a retainer clip and a washer. You want that retainer clip nearest to the nut and the washer up above. So next here, we are cutting down a couple of bits of 1 inch that we're going to need to solder to the two adapters that come with it. Now this copper cutter that I'm using here, I really like. It's a bit of a luxury tool that you don't need, but definitely saves some wear and tear on the body. Okay, so now we're just cleaning up the copper, preparing it to solder. For this, I like to use wire wool. Now we're just reaming the pipe, both ends, which helps provide a smooth surface for better flow and helps prevent future leaks. So definitely a recommended part of the procedure. Okay, now on to applying the flux. You want to only flux the pipe and not the fitting. I see people do both, and it's just this is the proper way to do it is the pipe only, and then give it a little wipe, put it on, and there we go, we're prepared. So I like to when I'm soldering out in the field use my close pipe cutters to hold up my pipe. It helps it from shaking about and wobbling about, and I hold my flame in one spot for the majority of the soldering. I heat the pipe up a little bit first and then move up to the fitting there. And there's three things that are going on when you're soldering. It's capillary action, which is where liquid wants to move from a large space to a small space. The liquid is also drawn to the heat, and then you also have the flux, which it's attracted to. Okay, so after they've cooled down, you want to put the washer on and the retainer clip, screw it in, hand tight again, and there we go, 1 inches coming out. So I'm going to cut these down a little bit. Your incoming main might be 1 inch, but in this case it's 3/4, so I'm just going to reduce it down to 3/4 straight off the bat here. Okay, I did ream them down, but didn't catch that. And here go the reducers. I mean, obviously you can solder this. I'm gonna now go to press as it's a lot quicker. You want to mark the press fittings as one, just in case it slips out a little bit. You know where the end of that pipe is, and actually Viega will not uphold their warranty if they don't see the pipe marked at the maximum depth point. So we've got one long pipe and one short pipe. So the short pipe is going to go to the incoming water main, and the top one's going to reconnect up to the outgoing. So there's two little arrows on that bypass that I screwed in, which will show you which one's coming in and which one's going out. Okay, so now here I'm just using the fitting to butt up against the incoming main water there, just to mark where I need to be. Cut it down. Now I can put the fitting in both sides, and then put a little level on so it's nice and neat. So I'm marking where I need to cut. At this point, the water is going to go off. So I'm using my hand cutters here, as the Milwaukee cutter doesn't take too well to the water, and also I like to use the control better with the close cutters there, and then back to the mechanical cutter there. Okay, back in she goes. Double check with the level, and we're all good. So below me there is that floor drain, and I'm in a mechanical room, so I wasn't too concerned about a little bit of water spilling on the floor there. But if you're in somewhere where you might want to be a little bit more careful about that, you want to use a wet vac along with a bucket. But like I said, in this scenario, it wasn't such a big deal. So there I just did the 1-inch presses, and now switching over to the 3/4 head, as the rest of this is going to be in 3/4, and it's as easy as that. I'll be honest, I was a little bit hesitant about getting the press tool. You know, when you've been doing soldering for so long and you're trying something new, you know, you don't have that trust like you do for something new. But I have to say, it's come in very handy. It does speed things up. The fittings are a lot more expensive, but especially for service work, it can be extremely useful. Especially since it can work when there's a little bit of water still running through the pipe. So, you know, if you've got one of those gate valves that isn't quite shutting off, it's no problem with this guy. Alright, so now we're on to the outlet side. So here we need a T that is a 1/2 inch in the middle here, where we need a drain port, you know, just a hose bib valve is going to go there, so we can flush the system out, which we're going to go through a little bit later. And after this, you do need another ball valve in order to do that whole flush out routine. And again, yeah, I'm just using the hand ones here. I just feel like you can be a little bit more accurate with these guys. So when I'm trying to be a little bit more precise, those guys come out. Back with the ream. So just need to connect this final bit up here. So marking the pipe again. Make sure she's nice and level, which she is. And a little bit more of some press action for you. That head can rotate 45 degrees, which can be handy. Get you in and out of all kinds of little spots. So with that ball valve, the only position you don't want it is so that handle is facing downwards, as it can cause a leak at that nut there. I mean, it's probably going to be fine, but you want it either facing up or facing horizontally, with it naturally falling to the off position. So now we're just wrapping up this hose bib here. So I'd like to do 4 to 5 wraps of Blue Monster, and then just really grind it in with your finger and thumb till it goes from a light blue to a dark blue. And then a bit of pipe dope as well. So I've tried lots of different pipe dope, and I've come to like this Megalock one the best. Simply because you can wipe it off pretty nicely afterwards, and as it's a little bit blue, kind of blends in nicely with the Blue Monster tape I use. So you just want to support that pipe as you twist it in. Get it nice and snug. You don't need to over tighten it, but you know, get it real snug. Now get the hose attached for the drainage procedure, the flush out procedure. Just removing the kinks from my pipe there, giving it a little extra tighten. And now we're on to the drainage portion. So this little connection here just pops out with a retainer clip, which I'll show you in a second, but you just want to tape that up, dope it up, and it's 3/4 PVC. So I'm just going to get that female adapter on right there. So look, you just push it in, and then you whack that retainer clip in right there, and it can rotate freely once it's in, which is useful. So I'm going to have it pointed towards the wall. Just put my hand there to catch any potential glue that might pop out. So you push her in, give her a nice 1/4 turn to a 1/2 inch turn. That just ensures the glue has gone all the way around the pipe and the fitting. Give it a nice wipe with your finger or cloth afterwards, so you get a nice clean finish. So there you go, there goes the elbow. Get a nice flush against the wall. And now on to the vertical portion of the pipe, heading towards the floor drain. Another handy little tip is always close your primer and glue, even if you're going to be using it quite a lot in the same motion just as I am here, because you'll only ever knock over a can of primer once, trust me. So I'm just going to line this up nicely with the floor drain. And there it is, and now get some clips in there, so it's nice and sturdy. It does come out with quite a force, this water, so you do want to make sure that pipe is well supported. And also make sure the wherever the pipe's ejecting to, so in my case the floor drain is heading straight down into it, not just, you know, with the pipe leading near towards it, because of the force it comes out with. You really do want it pointing right down into the floor drain, as I'm doing here, so like so. Okay, so we're ready to turn the water on, so I just ease her on at this point and double check for leaks on that first bit of pipe. And now the same thing again, don't open it all the way in one swoop, but ease her in. So I'm just checking for leaks and making sure she's filling steadily, which she did. Now onto the second part. Make sure your ball valve is closed just beyond that floor drain. You really don't want this water going into the house, as you'll see why in a second. So that was all good. So I checked for leaks. Now we're ready for the flush out part of the system. So there we go. Now that water is black. Don't be alarmed. That is how it's meant to be at this stage. Hence the need for the flush out.
Was this like priming?
Yeah. No.
So setting the Amiga here for the stopwatch, and you want to do this for 10 minutes. So I'm just poking it into the floor drain there, and then 10 minutes have gone by. Double check the water. You want it to be nice and clear, which it is. Now you want to force a regen. So you hold the up and down arrow at the same time. I think it's for 3 seconds. And then you'll see that little arrow appear next to regen, C16. And again, this will take another 10 minutes. And this is your chance to check your PVC piping for any leaks, and you can see it ejecting out there. You do need to plug this guy in as well, so you'll need a power outlet for it too. Just a standard 120 voltage. So 11 minutes 30 seconds have passed. It was a 10-minute charge, so I know that's good. And you want to go through that whole process again. So we're going to flush her out for another 10 minutes. And a little look at the Amiga there. So we're going to wait another 10 minutes. Then that was all good. So then you want to do another regen. As you can see, look, there it is. Arrow next to the regen. Set the clock. It will stop automatically, but it's just good to know when it's going to stop. So there you go. That stopped. And now you want to set the time. So just hold the set button down. And it'll give you the option to adjust the time to whatever time it is. So for me, it was 4:41. Look at that. Now, once you've done that, you want to set up the generation cycle. So you do that by holding the set and the up button at the same time. And this is going to depend on how many people are in the house. And it is a little bit noisy when it's doing the regen. So set it at a time that's convenient for you, and depending on the location and correspondence to bedrooms and such. So yeah, that's 7 I set it to. So I'm doing it on a 7-day cycle, which is what's recommended for 4 people. And put the cover on, water into the main house. And we are good. Some nice, fresh mountain filtered water coming in through the Halo 5. So now just a chance to admire a day's work. And it's probably a good time to mention you do need a pressure reducing valve for this. So you want to check that pressure before you go ahead and install this whole thing, which I did, and it was all good. And there it is. One last little close up and zoom out. And hope this helps someone.